Hi everybody, it's Mark from MT Restorations again. Glad to be with you. I wanted to do a little follow-up video. Some months back I did a video on repairing E-units, and I didn't really address what do you do when your handle kind of spins around. So how do you tighten it up? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's not as hard as you may think. There's little tricks you can do to kind of snug it up, but this one's spinning pretty free, and just to snug it a little bit is going to be difficult because it's a rivet that has been crimped, and to get to the back of it is difficult, obviously. So anyway, I'm going to show you how that's done on this one, and why some E-units have the handle on the front, some have them, on the back over here, so on and so forth, and just kind of walk through some of the different types. I've got some broken up E-units here I could use for demonstration, different handles and so on. But let's pop this one open here and see what we do. So get a small screwdriver. There's a couple little places right under here to catch up. See, that one come up pretty easy. You just get under there, under each corner, lift gently, try to pop that crimp through. Get on the back here, same thing, pop that. There you go. So we got that loose, front's loose. There we go. So the plunger's just, the only thing that holds it in there is actually the drive pin that rides up and down in the slots. When you open this up, which I have this tool for, that'll come out. You can take this all apart, and you can just about start from scratch on all these E-units with fresh parts. But anyway, what we want to do to tighten this, we got to get to the back of that. So this is in the way, obviously, and it does come off. If you have enough slack in your wires, you don't have to take them off. But if you don't, I just usually cut them off, keep track of which one goes to which. It's not that difficult. Usually the negative side, which is over here on this, when you're looking at it, that wire is from the top. That always comes out the top. And the ones from on the hot side, the positive side, are usually coming out the side somewhere or down lower. But again, if you get mixed up, it doesn't matter which one goes where, as long as you keep them separated. As long as the current goes through the filled coil, it will act as it's needed. It will react accordingly. So what we're going to do is see if we can get this. I have a tool that comes, I showed this a while back when I did the E-unit repair. It's a little jig. It helps you hold things together, and it came with an anvil. And the way this anvil works is pretty slick. You can put this right through here. There's a hole for the plunger holder, and it slides through just like that. So you still have this connected, which is fine, or disconnected, and it gives you something solid to tap down on that. So you want that to be snug on that hole. When you move it there, you want it to catch and hold there until you physically move it by hand. So what we want to do, we want to tap that rivet tighter again. And let's see here if I got my rivet tool, if this one will do it. I think it will. And got a little hammer here. Let's see what happens if we just tighten that. Oh, it's snug. Okay, it's better. Now you can do, I'm doing this on a plastic table. Probably would behoove us to do it if you have an anvil or a plywood table that you can give it a couple good whacks. It would help. But let's see what now that works really nice now. Yeah, that's good. It will fit in that hole and stay there. That's what you want. You don't want it flying around, because vibration of your engine running around the track, if it's too loose, it'll fall right out of there. I know you can't really feel the pressure, but this is definitely going right into the divot in the hole and sticking in there on its own. So it's not twirling around anymore like it was. So we succeeded without having to drill out the rivet, replacing the washer, and putting a new rivet in. But I do have those parts. They are available. I think on this one we can probably show you how that happens. I'll show you how that works over here. But I do have these rivets, and I do believe I have some of the spring washers. There's a couple different kinds, but they do the same thing. As you come back here. As you can see how this one's a black one, and it's got the 4 separations. It's just a pressure washer to keep that snug. So we have that. We have rivets. We have handles. This is a downward handle, which I'm going to need here eventually on an E-unit. This E-unit came together. I'll show you how this was. That was in here, this was this way, and it was this way. So as you can see, these are shaped differently. There's another good example here. It's an older one, but you're going to find some that have the handles on the back and have the handles on the front. I'm just going to pop this one together quickly. So you can see where this handle was and this handle was on the front. This is considered the back side, and this is for the downward type handles. You have a handle here. This is mostly the diesels, the F3s have a handle that sticks out below on the bottom of the engine. You would need this type of configuration. Some of the other ones, there's a shorter configuration that this is on the back. I'm sorry, we'll go back there again. And with a plate, which I have. And the plates go on. You can see this is a replacement plate. There's a little notch and a circle. The little notch goes on a little tab that's on the E-unit. So it's hard to put them on wrong or backwards, but that's how that is. And I think I do have some short handles. Oh yeah. So there is a configuration on some engines that have a short handle like that, and it goes just like that, but it's on the back. That way it takes and changes the location of where this handle comes up through the locomotive or the diesel, depending on the type you have. Some are like this with the handle in the front. Some have the handle in the back. Some have the handle in the back, which are long handles that face down like that, compared to having it on the front. Obviously that wouldn't work out, you know. So most of all the other parts on an E-unit are the same. Everything else other than the handle, type of handle and the handle location, and the location of the insulated board, front versus the back side. I've seen different engines have these E-units installed in different locations in the chassis. For example, let's see here. I have a motor sitting over here. Okay. This one has a downward handle. It's on the back, as you can see. So this would be, a unit would be in there that way. So this would be on the back. So we would want this way when we put it back together for that configuration. Now let's see, do I have another one floating around here somewhere? I don't have one with it facing forward, but we can use the same example. This could go in this way, but obviously it's going to be, let's see, here we are, downward for that type of motor. And it could be a longer handle. It doesn't need to be, but it could be. This is the one that was in there. I'm not even sure it's the right handle, but anyway, let me go back to what we're doing. So we're going to complete step by step here what we're going to do. So let me get some of this out of the way. This was for here. This is an extra one for there. The plungers from there. So let me here cut open this little corner again. I keep taping this together. Stealing rivets out of it. Let's see if we can get this out. Okay. Put these away for a moment. So the thing is, obviously this has to go out. We have to get the rivet through, which it's hard to get your fingers in there, so use a little device of some kind. Get that rivet in there. We have the board's going to go back on, and you don't get mixed up because there's a notch and a tab. So we have this scenario, and what I'd like to do is put this on my anvil, my little anvil. So I'm going to take this apart. This is done now, actually, so we can pull this apart. That handle is nice and tight, so we'll set these parts aside. And we're going to put the anvil back on here. And what we're going to do is make sure that we slide this back on. Like so. That will hold my rivet upright. We're going to put a downward handle on. So that goes like that. And it's going to rest in that hole. So we want to put this washer on. If I can pick it up. That goes on like that. And we have that to crimp. And to do that, again, use my tool. And I'm going to give it a couple whacks here. Getting there. Okay, it's fairly tight. Yeah, very nice. Nice and snug. So these rivets are a little longer than the original ones. You just tap that down, round it over. There you go. That takes away the sharp edges. And there, beautiful. So we're all set. So we have this one here now. Can go back together on this shell of an E-unit, because it obviously is not ready to go. I have not put any wires in, checked out the drum. It needs cleaned at the very least. Make sure all the teeth were good. But that needs to be done. That's a different day. I just wanted to show everybody how you put these handles on or change them around. Now you may end up with an engine that needs an E-unit. You may have an E-unit but no engine. So again, remember, all the E-unit parts are the same. It's just the configuration of where the handle is. It's either front or back. Obviously, a downward handle would have to be behind the drum, not behind the fingers. So that's how that would go. But there are units that have a short handle on the back that points up. Depends on where the slot is. Let's take an example where the slot is on your locomotive or diesel. It tells you what kind of handle you have and where it's at in relationship to the E-unit. So our E-unit would be similar to this. We would have that handle sticking up. This could be in the front, could be in the back, but obviously it doesn't work that way. This is where the armature is. So the E-unit's going to be facing this way in the back of the chassis, and the handle has to go that way. So if you have an E-unit, it has this on the back with a short handle, you could actually take this off, switch it around, and put it to where it fits in the front. That would work. So, just saying, it's only the location and the direction of the handle that changes with these. So back to this. I mean, I'm sure maybe I'll get some people with comments on the bottom. Put your comments below if I'm wrong. You know, shoot me your answer or what you think. But I've done pretty many of these already, and putting them back together is not that big of a deal. Now, this one here, I noticed that the coil, the wires are short. They need extended. The wires need extended to go where they need to go. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to put this back in there for now. Well, actually, you know, I'll leave it out because I'm going to take it apart again. But I'm going to show you, once the coil's back into place, so on and so forth, you connect your wires to these tabs, the hot side, the negative side, and then you can put your bottom back on, and obviously, like I said, this is going to face down, so it's going to go back here. You want to line up your crimps again, get that fed back together just like that. So what you can do is you can use some channel locks. I have some somewhere. We got some channel locks. I'll move this handle out of the way a little bit. I'm going to turn it up for a moment before I can crimp this. And you just want to get in there and give it a little squeeze with some channel locks. You can hear it snap. It kind of went back together already. Pretty snug. The handle, we'll get this handle back around. It's tight. The handle's nice and snug. You can hear it pop. You can see it pop in there. So it's in place. So you're wired. Now you can bend these in. You can see most of these are bent in, the little wings on the E-unit. Some are out. You know, some people leave them out. Some people bend them in. I like to bend them in a little bit. You know, push them behind me. And that way, flatten them out, push it behind. Then that gives you something you can wrap your coil wire around and put a little solder ball on it to keep them still. To make it look more professional, bend it with your needle nose. That way it's not a rounded 90 degree, it's a little bit more of a 90-degree bend. That way, all you have to do now is put it back in the engine. So this would go back in here, slide back down, put your screw through, and your handle's in the right place, facing down, and it's nice and snug, and you're done. That's how handles are repaired. Some are loose. You can repair it by just doing what I just did here. Snap it out, let this dangle, tighten this up. So if you don't have an anvil like this, I still recommend you take the coil out, and you can probably put this on the top of your vise and fit it to a corner or somewhere on the vise where you can get the meat of the metal, the solid surface under here. Either use a little flat bar of steel, maybe this long, that you can spread between your anvil, or excuse me, your vise, to pop this on, or you might have a screwdriver, a large screwdriver with square sides, or whatever you have, to get between here. You don't want to put pressure on this copper tube or this brass tube. You want the backside of the rivet to rest on something solid before you tap on it. So again, it depends on what you have to work with that makes the difference. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to put this back together. Just slide this back up on there. Oop, get this back in behind where it belongs. And push that on. That's all there is to it. There's usually a paper gasket in here. As you can see, that keeps the wires from touching anything coming out the top. You got your positive wire, your negative wire. And we're going to put this back on here where it belonged. This went on here. Same principle. We're going to pop these in, make sure that's up all the way. Let's see if we can get that down in there. Okay, well, okay, maybe it's going to want to do this way first. Let's see. Get that in there, get that in there. Push that over, get that lined up, get the front lined up. The trick is not to open this. You want the pressure in. You know, you want the pressure to remain squeezing together. So when you push this together, you can almost do it with your fingers. And it's in there. It's pretty tight. Ain't going to come apart. So that's that part. This part would be with the plunger again. Goes back up in there. You have to open this up to get the plunger in, so on. I'm not doing that at the moment today. I wanted to focus on taking the top of your E-unit off, repairing or replacing a handle, and putting it back together with or without the wires being released. You can do it either way. You can unsolder these or cut them and then take that completely out, or you can let it dangle if you're okay with that. If the wires are too short for that, then cut them off. Then just make sure that the one with the upper slot where it comes out the top is on this side, and then one that comes probably halfway or so from the bottom up or whatever is on the right side. You can just put that on and spin it to the location you need and go from there. So hopefully this helped. Again, I had a lot of requests from people on where do you get this? You know, where do you find this thing? It comes with the little holder for a drum, and it's kind of cool. Put that in there. Obviously, you can snap this in here. Move the handle out of the way. Put that in there like that. Hold that this way. You move this around till you get that lined up just right. You pop it in there, and when this is spread out, you move that down there to line up with your holes. You can actually tighten this, but the anvil part was cool coming with this. Whoever created this thought of all the things necessary to do this. Because before I got this, I needed 4 hands and 20 fingers to hold everything together and so on and so forth, which was very difficult. So anyway, with this aside, I don't know if these are made anymore. I've not been able to find these since I bought mine several years ago. But there is another one out there. A friend of mine just bought one. It's similar. It does the same thing. It has a holder. It's got this holder. Did not come in an anvil, I don't believe. But just these couple parts make a huge difference on repairing E-units. But if you need, give me an email. My email address is MT.TrainRestorations, all one word, at gmail.com. And I can send you the link for that information on where he bought his. He got his last week. It's a different manufacturer. I forget the name of the manufacturer, but I have that site I can share with anybody who's interested in getting a holder. I don't get anything from that. I'm not promoted by them, or I'm not promoting them, whatever, but these come in handy. If you can't get this one, try the other type. I think you'll be happy with it. So as far as E-units today, I think I accomplished some of the questions and comments that people had. on what do you do when the handle's loose, how do you repair or change a handle, and so on, and put it back together. That's the trick. So anyway, hope you have some comments for me. I hope I didn't misspeak on some of the things I said. This is what I've been doing. I'm not an expert, but I've done so many of these. I got a whole box of these. I got so many E-units to do. I got boxes and bags of these things. I keep getting from folks. I buy them. I got friends that send me broken ones. I give them new ones in trade. I fix them. I got probably 20, 30 of these in a box. Different configurations, different types of handles, different issues. I enjoy putting them together and making them work again. So they're not that difficult. Don't be scared of taking these apart. I have pieces and parts to share with you. Some of those parts you can buy the fingers, the 4 fingers. You can buy the 2 finger sets. Those are still available. Drum units, as I said before, once you put all that together, the plungers are typically last a lifetime. Sometimes this will go a little bit bad. They start to get from where they get a little shorter in time, and they start to wiggle a little bit as they go up and down. But it's for the most part, they last a long time. So I hope that answered some of your questions. If you have any, please shoot me an email, comment below, let me know what you think. Please subscribe. That helps. The more subscribers I get, the better I like it, the more videos I'll do. If you have any kind of special video you'd like to see, let me know. I'll try to make that happen for you, and we'll go from there. So this is Mark from MT Restorations. Till next time, take care, and goodbye for now.